So, if you're like me and you quit processed food, it might be a bit difficult at first because instead of always having snacks, you always have your chips in a little bowl, you have like some soda over in the corner, and you just don't have that anymore. You don't have like these snacks between meals. Like it's quite hard at first to get adjusted to that from like having all these snacks everywhere. You can just grab some whenever you go. Instead of that, you just don't have snacks at all. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can still have snacks while you're away from processed food. And it seems more obvious than you think, but it may not seem obvious at first. And I have three snacks right now that go along with removing processed food from your diet. As in, you can still eat snacks when you remove away like cheap junk food like chips and soda, as I mentioned earlier. And number one is fruit. I love fruit. Fruit is amazing. Like, fruit is just great. Like, my personal favorites are bananas, grapes, apples, oranges are good too. Like, pineapple, if you can cut it, like, it's all amazing. I love bananas, especially before I work out in the morning. Like, I love them. And they're just a great snack. Like, I know some people, like, especially like my parents, actually, they were worried about me, like, not getting enough sugar in my diet, which kind of seems a little silly, but like, if you have that, like, worry in your head, boom, fruit. You have immediately enough sugar, and also, as a side note, it's not processed sugar, so it's not as, like, potent as processed sugar, where like it's more refined, more like sugary, like it's more sweet, it's more effective on you. While sugar has unrefined sugar, it just has, sorry, fruit has unrefined sugar. And you can just eat it. Like, it tastes good too, but it's also healthy in a sense. Like, it's much healthier, obviously, than eating processed sugary foods like cookies or something. So, immediately, like, if you're craving sweets, fruit is amazing. Again, personal favorite bananas, but anything honestly will work. Blueberries, strawberries, anything is great. Number two, and this is probably the heavyweight champion for me, is almonds and just nuts in general. Because like almonds, especially for me, like we just like set out a bowl in the kitchen that my dad, like, he microwaves the almonds in a specific way. He like mixes them around, microwaves it so that it dries out the almonds even more, so that like it's really crunchy, you know what I mean? And especially now that my braces are removed, I love eating them. Like, I just like go into the kitchen, I just grab a handful anytime I'm there, and I just like snack on them. Like, honestly, they're amazing. Like, they're not sweet, they're just almonds. Like, they're not salted, they're just straight almonds. But especially what my dad does to them, microwaves them, dries them out. They're amazing. Like, their texture, especially the crunch that you get, almost makes up for kind of lack of taste. But I can't say it lacks taste because nuts do have taste. Like, they have fats in them. And as a side note, fats have more calories per gram than carbs or protein. So you could eat like 10, let's say, nuts. Each of them are about a gram, but honestly, they're probably more. But each gram of fat is 9 calories. So you eat 10 nuts that are each at least 1 gram, probably more. That's already 90 calories. Like, that's amazing. 90 calories just like that from eating like 10 nuts, and you barely even feel full. Like, you don't feel full because nuts are small, honestly. They're little. And they're a great addition to a diet, especially if you're trying to gain weight like me. I'm trying to bulk up currently. So even just like 90 calories every time I go to the kitchen, that's amazing. That's great. And number three is dried fruit. As a side note, right now, I'll tell you, you have to be careful what kind of dried fruit or dried anything you eat, because like I'm talking about the dried as in like you buy it in like a bag from the store. You have to be careful what's in the ingredients list. So you have to check it every time you eat something like that, because there may be unnecessary added sugars. They may just be like preservatives in like BHA or something. So 100% check the ingredients label before you eat like dried anything. But if you check it, it just like the ingredients is literally like peaches dried or something. Like that's it. Like the only ingredient is peaches, or like maybe they had like vinegar or salt or something, and then boom, like you can eat it. Like that's a great snack. Especially if they don't even add sugar. Like that's just perfect. Like you can just eat that whenever you want. And I just gave these examples. These aren't the only things you can eat, but like you don't have to stop snacking when you quit processed food. Like processed food and snacking, they may seem like synonymous where they're the same thing, but they're not. While processed foods are a snack, not all snacks are processed food, and you just have to find out what you like. So, for example, you may not like fruit as much, but you love almonds, like me. I like fruit and almonds, but you never know. Like, you may just have separate tastes, or you might not like dried food as much. Then you still have the other two, and you still have plenty of other options as well. And you don't need to stop snacking when you quit processed food.